The interactions between T cell receptors and MHC molecules are not very strong compared to the binding of antibodies with the antigens. So therefore it requires the help of other accessory molecules which stabilizes the interactions, like CD4 molecules which interact with the class 2 MHC and CD8 molecules which interact with class 1 MHC molecules present on the surface of antigen presenting cell. However, the specificity of the antigen is determined solely by the T cell receptors. Therefore, the accessory molecules are invariant or not or identical. So the expression of the accessory molecules is enhanced by response to different cytokines. Now let us study the co-receptors in detail. So the co-receptors are basically two types, either CD4 or CD8. CD4 co-receptors are present on T helper cells and they are composed of a single polypeptide chain composed of four extracellular domains, one transmembrane region and a long cytoplasmic region. So this CD4 co-receptors has the ability to bind to the beta 2 domains of MHC class 2 molecules present on the antigen presenting cells. CD8 co-receptors are the one which are expressed on the surface of cytotoxic T cells and they are composed of two polypeptide chain, that is alpha and beta. Each chain is then interconnected within itself as well as to each other by means of disulfide bridges. So each chain is composed of a single extracellular domain and a transmembrane region and a long cytoplasmic tail. CD8 co-receptors bind to the alpha 3 domain of the MHC class 1 molecule presented on the surface of antigen presenting cells. Now let us study how the different types of T cells are activated. Let us first study the activation of T helper cells. So this activation is a two-signal process also called immunological synapses. So the antigen presenting cells digest the antigen and present on the surface of their MHC2 class molecules. So the first signal is provided by binding of T cell receptor to the antigenic peptide presented by MHC class 2 molecule. So this interaction is enhanced by binding of CD4 co-receptors to the beta 2 domain of MHC class 2. So binding of these two molecules results in providing the first signal. The second signal is provided by binding of co-stimulatory molecules to their respective receptors. Like CD28 is a co-stimulatory molecule which is present on the surface of T cells which interacts with the co-stimulatory receptors present on the antigen presenting cells, that is P7 or CD80. So both these two signals results in release of cytokines which then results in activation and proliferation of T helper cells. So activation of T cells require binding of T cell receptors to MHC molecule, binding of co-receptors to the MHC molecule, and also binding of co-stimulators. So all three steps are required for activation of T cells. So even if T cell receptors are engaged with the antigen presented MHC molecule and co-receptors have also binded with MHC molecule, it doesn't result in activation of T cells, and this is called anergy, and it results in no response. Similarly, in the absence of a T cell receptor binding to MHC molecule, there would be no effect. So activation can only occur when the co-stimulator, co-receptors and the T cell receptors and the MHC1 molecule along with the antigenic peptides have interacted. They would result in release of cytokines which results in the differentiation and effector function of T cells. So activation of T cell results in release of interleukin 2 by the T cells which has an autocrine function That is, it has effect on the same cells, and it activates the same T cells and convert into an active CD4 T cells, which then proliferates and differentiate into CD4 effector T cells or T helper cells, which then activate B cells for generation of antibodies, and it also results in development of CD4 memory T cells, which then results in clonal expansion of memory T cells.